Welcome everyone. Anyone wants to join, please do come and pull up a seat. We're about to start a talk on the practicalities of shopping for your wedding dress, so please feel free to pop on and enjoy the chat. So welcome everyone. My name is Beth Forsyth. I am editor of Tie the Knot Scotland magazine. You can pick up a copy at the bottom corner if you haven't done so already, or come and see us on stand 428F later on. So I'm joined on stage by two of the names behind Scotland's leading bridal boutiques in order to find out what you need to know before you start shopping for the dress of your dreams. On your right, yes, we have Glasgow School of Art graduate Joyce Young OBE. She has 30 years experience of dressing brides and mothers of the bride and groom. She's known for her simple, stunning and elegant designs. Her studio is based in the north of Glasgow, from where her team can offer the option to go couture and design and make from scratch if you so desire. Next one in, is the lovely Sharon McPherson from Opus Couture and Opus Atelier in West Kilbride. Sharon also has 30 years experience in the bridalwear industry and has grown them into the leading names in bridal fashion thanks to their quality of service, experience and in-house expertise. Sharon is on stand 411C and Joyce is on stand 430B, just over that way. So first of all, I should ask, how soon is too soon to start shopping for your wedding dress?
Well, I think we're both agreed on this. It's never too soon.
Never too soon.
Once you're engaged, we would recommend that you have your venue booked probably, and venues, you'll be finding out today, no doubt, if you haven't already booked your venues, they're pretty well booked up for the next year or 2 years. So once your venue's booked, and all the suppliers that there's only one of, like the celebrant, the photographer, then come start looking for your wedding dress, because just nowadays, because of COVID and Brexit and everything's taking that wee bit longer, and we don't know, hopefully we're out of the woods now, but you don't know if there'll be any delays. So for your own peace of mind, I would start early. And wedding dresses don't change so much. I mean, in my mind, a wedding dress should be fairly classic and stand the test of time. I think Audrey Hepburn, Grace Kelly, they always look amazing. So if it's out of date by next year, then it's not probably not the right dress. But so you don't need to be high fashion, but you can be if you want to be. But that's up to you. For me, I like classic elegance.
I kind of say, can you hear me okay? I kind of have the same opinion as Joyce. It's never too soon, especially if you want something that is going to make if you want to come and buy a design, get it in the bag, know what you're doing, and then you have a stress-free run-up to your wedding. Your wedding dress is part, I believe, once you've got your venue, and then you have your wedding dress, that really sets the brief for your wedding. So once you're sorted, then you can look at colours, you can look at bridesmaid styles, you can look at how you want to actually style your day. And once because for one of the few times in your life you are absolutely the centre of this, and what you choose for your wedding dress will help you, makes everything else much easier and much more stress-free. So everything, as Joyce says, takes a little bit longer, and what we do have is we have lots of things for you to make it easier for you, lots of dates, lots of times. So whenever you pick your wedding dress, as soon as it's picked, then we let you know whenever the date is, when it's ready for you to try on for the first time. Once you try it on for the first time, then we book in all your fitting appointments, and all your fitting appointments can be done in-house. And that way you have an exact dates and times for everything, and your plan, your whole overall plan. I hope that's...
I'd like to emphasise the trying to keep it all stress-free, so the earlier you start, the longer you've got for the run-up. And it's not just one day, it's the quality time that you spend with your mum, your bridesmaids.
Yeah.
The whole run-up to your wedding is all part of it. And if you can make that a really enjoyable time, a fun time, then that's what it's all about. And you get to the wedding day and you're relaxed. People have met each other at the hen do, and it's a time to enjoy. And it might become a little bit stressful at times, but you want to try and keep that to the minimum.
Yeah. I mean, wedding dresses are quite different from your sort of average night out dress. For a bride that perhaps doesn't have a clue where to begin, how would they start identifying what styles and silhouettes they might like? Should they take cues from their everyday style, for example?
I personally would say that wedding dress shopping is like nothing else. At no other time in your life is it likely that you've worn ivory from head to foot, or blush, or white, or whatever you choose. Yes, we've worn black. I regularly wear black, but that is a different thing altogether. And it's not, I always tell my brides as well, that wedding dress shopping is not about these proportions. It's about these proportions. So I think it's vitally important that you come with an open mind and you listen to the people that are doing it every day, because this is what we do every day, is speak to brides. And it's lovely to have an idea of the kind of fabrics you like. It's lovely to have an idea of the kind of beadwork you like, or no beadwork, or lace or no lace, or fabric. Anything you can give us that tells us a little bit about you. That always helps. But keep an open mind and let your body do the talking.
And you can go onto Pinterest and make a board of the things that you're liking when you're looking through the internet. It's good to prepare in advance rather than just go to the nearest shop and start looking. If you go in prepared, then you have an idea of what you are looking for, but at the same time be prepared for that to change and keep an open mind, as Sharon says. But it's a good idea, I think, to gather your ideas, do a mood board, and then you'll see a picture forming, whether you're a boho bride, if that's the sort of look you have, or whether you're a Hollywood diva, princess. This will all come out and you can think about. There's so much to think about. It's trying to bring it all together. And I think if you bring it together in pictures and then put yourself in that picture, can I imagine? I mean, I'm only 5 foot tall. I look at pictures of dresses and I think they're fabulous, but it would never suit me. So there's no point putting together things that are going to suit somebody else. We can admire lovely designs of someone else that aren't going to suit us. You know your own shape, you know what you're comfortable, and we want to make the best of all your attributes and hide the parts that you don't want to be seen. And there's certain styles that will suit. We've also got lots and lots of experience. I'm calling us the grannies of the industry, but we know what we're talking about. We've been doing it a long time. We've seen every different body shape, and we know once we see you without your coats and scarves on, then we can advise you. And I would take advice from our consultants and from us on where we go. You can ignore it afterwards, but we do know what tends to make people look wonderful.
There's always a surprise in bridal, I have to say. You come in and you think, oh, that's what I want, and you put it on and you go, oh, okay, maybe not. And that's the point when you look at your consultant and you think, have you any ideas? Listen to them, because very often when you walk in the door, we're going, oh, that girl's a brown, isn't she? Oh, she's going to look amazing and that. And we have our own thoughts already. It may not be your style, but we have suggestions. And if you don't like that, and you'll often get, oh, try this one on for me. If you don't mind, would you have a wee look at this and just see what you think about it? And that can inspire you, and that can point you in a different direction. And very often, the trail from their front door to your actual wedding dress and walking down the aisle has many turns, but we don't stop until we find what is exactly right for you and your figure and your style. It's important that the dress that you wear is based on your confidence. We want you to be the most confident you've ever been. We know that you're going to get photographed. We know that people are going to be looking at you, and we want you to know that you're good from the back, you're good from the front, and you're good from the sides. And we will tell you if you're not. We will try and amend that. But we'll try and find you the style that is you, but the best version of that.
And so much depends on your personality as well. We can look at you, you can be 5'10", size 10, and look amazing in a slinky dress, but that just might not be your personality. You might not want to pull that off. You might want a big dress, you might want to hide. Some brides are actually not wanting to be the centre of attention. You know, we've got girls who just are desperate to be the centre of attention, and others who are just dreading it. So, and when people come into us, we've got to remember that quite often it's with a bit of, you know, of nervousness. Yeah. Not everybody, we assume people are going out to look for their wedding dress, and they're just so excited about it and looking forward to it. But a lot of people actually come in and they're quite shy, and it's up to us to then put you at your ease, and just have a chat with us beforehand. Tell us what you're thinking. We have a chat before we start looking at dresses at all.
Yeah, we don't bite. Don't worry.
In terms of some sort of practicalities of coming along to the bridal appointment, what should brides do to prepare? Do they need to wear sort of a certain style of underwear? Do they need to bring a pair of heels with them? Is there someone in the fitting room helping them in and out the dresses quite physically? So,
well, how we conduct our appointments are, whenever you come along, we have different underskirts, we have different shoes, we have different sizes of heels. It would be good if you wore some underwear. That would be really nice, thank you. It would be preferable if it wasn't black. That's also a good thing. That happens regularly. But it doesn't really matter. At the end of the day, we've seen everything, and we're not there to look at that. We're there to see what dresses suit your body shape. So the best scenario is nude underwear, maybe a strapless nude bra if you can. But if not, most of the dresses have cups. Most of them have some kind of structure that is going to make you feel good. And if it doesn't look good in the underwear that you're in, we can make it look a little bit better, but we're not going to, you know, it's not going to be the right dress if it's not the right dress. Your underwear isn't going to change that dramatically. So just come.
And you can bring shoes if you want, if you've got a particular height of heel. Height of heel is good. In fact, for the wedding dresses, you'll find they're pretty. If you're not 5'9", 5'10", most of them will be too long on you. We don't use a box, but we tend to pin. Do you use a box?
No, we don't use a box.
Some shops put you up on a plinth. For me, I think, you know, it's cheating because
you are the height you are.
Yes, exactly.
I can't change that.
Yeah. So, and your dress will be made in proportion. So, putting you up on a box just to save turning up the hem is not giving you the impression of how you're actually going to look in that dress.
How many people should a bride take with her when she's shopping? Obviously, dealing with various opinions can be quite tricky sometimes. What would be your advice to brides on that front?
I would say bring the people you really trust. Bring your mum. Your mum will always tell you what she thinks. But if you don't have your mum to bring your best friend. But don't bring too many people, because too many opinions are just confusing. And it can be just, I mean, some I've seen bridesmaids being there and they're on their phone and the bride comes out and they kind of look up, and just that one expression on their face might put her off. We're in the changing room with you. We see your body language. You tell us you love something and you go out and somebody might just say something that changes, that takes your confidence away. It can be as little as just someone saying something, you know, that they didn't really mean, or something thoughtless. It's rely on your own judgment, and you can bring people. We don't say how many people you can bring, but we wouldn't recommend that you bring too many.
I'm inclined to agree. Bring the opinions that you know that are going to affect you, and the people who know your style and who are prepared to be flexible with you. If you change your style slightly for your wedding day, people who will understand that. At the end of the day, the most important thing is how you feel in that dress. I don't know how you feel in it. Other people can see and know your reactions and maybe know you better than I would know you, because they've known you all your life or whatever, and they can say, oh no, she loves this is great, and that's a great opinion. So bring the people that you trust and rely on yourself, as Joy said, because you will know how you feel. And that's important, that you feel good on the day. That's the reason I started Opus in the first place, was I wanted to provide brides with the space and the place and the space and the expertise to help them get to the point that when they're standing in their wedding dress, that they are the most confident they have ever been, and they feel the most beautiful that they've ever been. And that is why I started Opus in the first place. That's about 19 years ago now. It's been a while.
So you found your dream dress, perfect, but there's maybe a small aspect of it that you're not 100% sold on. How easy is it to tweak and customise the design?
Well, for Opus, we have our own in-house technician, and I know, Joyce, you would be the same. We have our own in-house technician, so the bridal consultant who sold you your wedding dress is very probably the bridal consultant who will do your pin fitting. So when she does your pin fitting, she will then speak to our alterations, our technical staff upstairs in the same building, who will then, they will speak and that will translate through, so they'll know exactly what they meant. Then you'll come back in for your next fitting and it'll be the same consultant again. Therefore you have a continuum. We keep your dress in store, we have storage facilities, and then you have your alterations done, and at each point you will be meeting the same people so that you will have say and you'll know exactly what's going on. So we can do almost anything you need to do. If you need a neckline changed and it can't be done, we'll be up front and say that can't be done, so you won't buy that dress. But if you buy a dress that you think, well, I want to have the tulle taken away from this because I like the neckline underneath, yes, we can do that. That's absolutely fine. Or I want to add a sleeve. Okay, you can do it with this, you can't do it with that one. We're very upfront and we'll
tell you before that we don't lead you up the garden path and say that we have an example in London just now of a girl that keeps coming back that wants to change into, I think it's a V-neck or a square neck. And it just won't work, but she won't believe us. But we've had our technicians up, we've had people that just go and get a square neck dress, change that, so there's only so many alterations before you start spoiling the design, because that design was put together for a certain reason. So you can do some changes, but I wouldn't completely remake a dress. You're better just to start from scratch and have one made specially for you. And that's where couture comes in. Because if you've been around and you can't see exactly what you want, or you know you of a particular style that you've always wanted, then we can do that for you and make a dress from scratch for you. But it will cost a bit more, but you'll have something that's totally different.
One of my degrees is in beadwork, so if we wanted beadwork done, we can also amend or change or redo that depending on what you're looking for. So there are things that you can do with a plain dress to make it more decorative, and there are things you can take away from a decorative dress to make it more plain. So there are things you can do, and there are ways of doing it, but we'll be very upfront in telling you exactly what that is, and there is a cost for doing it. Don't forget, like your alterations, these things take time and expertise, and that's what you pay for. So we'll tell you.
In terms of, you touched on costs there, in terms of that, what should brides expect in terms of the ordering process, deposits, etc.?
Yeah, well, it's normally 50% deposit when you order your dress. And then when your dress comes in, if it's not a couture dress, if it's coming in from another designer, a manufacturer, then when your dress arrives in shop, then that's your balance is due then. You would come in for your fitting close to the time it comes in and try it on. You're happy, you know your dress is there, but we wouldn't do lots of pinning at that stage. We would leave it till nearer the time of your wedding, possibly about 8 weeks before the wedding, get you back in and do the alterations then. As long as you're booked in and we know that you're coming in, then we'll have a machinist that will be able to do your alterations.
We work in a very similar manner. When you buy your dress and you come in for your first try. New dresses come in. You haven't seen it yet. You come in for your first try. On that day, we book in all your appointments closer to your wedding, and that's when you have your whole diary. It's filled up. You know exactly what you're doing. You know exactly when your dates are, and then you pay your alterations at the end. But we take a 50% deposit at the beginning, your balance at your first fitting, and then the payment for your alterations before your final fitting. So we've asked our brides, we did, before COVID, we did a survey with our brides, and our brides told us that's the way they liked to do it. So I don't think that much will have changed in that sense.
I suppose lastly, I'd be curious to know when should brides collect their dress ahead of the big day, and will you show them or someone that's in their bride team how to get in and out of the dress on the day?
Well, we do our final fitting, and on our final fitting, we invite your right-hand person to come, and we will show them how to put you into their dress if it's more than a zip. If it's a zip, well, that's quite easy. But we will tell you how to position yourself within the dress. We will educate you as you go along as to the things that you need to know so that your dress on the day is the best it can possibly be. We will show you how to do your pin up your train if you have a train, and we will show you how to carry your dress from A to B, because we will steam it, have it hanging, and you bring your duvet cover. Now, don't bring me your feather duvet, just the cover, because what happens is that goes over your wedding dress and it leaves room for the train if you have a train. It's carried out to your car by a member of staff, and then you go to your venue and you hang it up there. If you don't want to hang it up in your own house or your parents' house or whatever, then it can go straight to your venue and you take it there. And if you need it cleaned afterwards, you can come to us and approach us after that. So we can keep it in our storage right up to the day before or the week before, depending on what suits you and where you're travelling to. And if you're abroad, we pack it as well for you if you need that done.
Same, ditto.
Same.
Yes. So yeah, we've got parking at the door. You can bring your car right up, put it into the car for you, put it across the back seat, up on the hook on the window. And for us as well, you can keep it till the last day. If we always want you to try it on just before at least a week before the wedding, just in case there's any last minute alterations. The bustle's important to show how to the bridesmaids or mum, whoever's going to do your bustle up, how the bustle works, because maybe after a drink or two they might not be able to get the ribbons tied in the right place. Sometimes we even put A to A, B to B. I don't know if they take it to the wedding.
We put little safety pins in because the thread bars are so invisible that I have seen people phoning me from the reception saying, I can't find where the bustle is.
I'm sure you've seen lots of pictures of bridesmaids right underneath the skirts and just feet sticking out. That's the big dresses. But yeah, there's always a way to get the trains off the ground. Another tip that I give to brides, and it's something that I wouldn't have thought about until I went to a friend's wedding. We had done the dress. Is if your bridesmaids, it's quite fashionable now for the bridesmaids to go down first and the bride to come afterwards. Make sure that at least one of your bridesmaids comes back, so when you stop with your dress, that somebody knows to come and put your train out. Because now it used to be the bridesmaids came down behind the bride and they would sort out the train. But in the wedding I was at, the bridesmaids, 4 of them were just standing, and the bride came down and the train had come in behind her, and I was itching to get out and spread the train out, and was being videoed from the back. Well, I would have had quite disruptive. I was in the middle of an aisle.
You just when you see that, you have to just do it. So I'm expecting your
train.
Right-hand person will be the person who'll know to do that. They'll be like, you know.
But you just need to tell them to remember on the day with all the excitement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you very much. Ladies, does anyone have any questions they'd like to ask Joyce or Sharon?
Please ask.
Please raise your hand and I can run over with a mic.
I was just wondering, my daughter's quite small. Do you actually get like a petite?
You can do, and sometimes certain skirts are more applicable or more appropriate for her that height. And if it's bespoke or it's handmade or whatever, we can actually tailor it to her. So there's some styles that we would advise against, but when you put a girl in that dress, we are women, and when we put a girl in that dress and we take them to the mirror, they will see that themselves. We can show it to them. So it's not just our advice, we can show you that and you can make that decision yourself.
Sometimes they need lifted from the waist rather than if you're small, you don't take it from the hem. It would be lifted up so everything's in proportion, because it's not just small and high. All back neck to waist is shorter. Everything is in proportion. But yes, we obviously have teams of people that are very experienced to do that. And I would recommend that when you go to get your dress from a shop, go to one that will see you right through to the end and be able to do your alterations.
especially if that's your worry.
Yeah.
In Opus, what we do is, I always joke, my daughter's a designer as well, and I always joke that I blinged her out whenever she was young, and she's unpicked more lace hems than circumvent the world twice, and her own body weight in beads, because we actually don't just cut the lace if it's a proper edge, and we take the whole lace off, we put it back on, and we rebead it, so it's perfect. You would never know it's been touched.
Sometimes that's why it's easier to take it from the waist. If there's a lot of work around the hem, then it's depending on, so because it's expensive to do that. So you might want to think about that. Either way, it's a lot of work.
Thank you very much. Ladies, anyone else have any questions they'd like to ask?
Please don't make us talk anymore. Ask
Well, thank you very much for joining us, and a big thank you to Sharon and Joyce. Thanks a lot.
So enjoy the run-up and all the planning.